Welcome back to another episode of the Chips and Chops podcast. The sponsor of this episode is Stockroom East. Stockroom East is a collaborative workspace here in downtown South Bend. Stockroom East offers so many things, including events, podcast, video studio, conference rooms, and lastly, the best community ever. This is our first episode in 30 episodes not being in Stockroom East, and that's hard for us. Unfortunately, my car broke down and David's did too, so we had no sort of mode of transportation, so we're back in the attic. David, guess who the last guest we had in this attic?
In the attic?
Yes.
I don't know.
Axel Barrera. One of our close friends, Axel Barrera. So that's just a really cool thing that about like 5 months ago is the last time we were here, and now we're back. A lot of nostalgia. With us today is Lindsay Gizzi. Lindsay is a D1 swimmer over at the University of Louisville. In high school, Lindsay was a superstar on the golf course, but everything changed when she started to get offers to swim D1 and not golf D1. And that was a really hard time. Freshman year, she ended up going to Colorado State University, but after 1 year, she decided to transfer to Louisville, where she's now killing it in the swimming pool. Let's get straight into it, Lindsay. After 1 year at Colorado State, you decided to transfer to Louisville. How did your freshman year go at Colorado State, and then what prompted the transfer?
So we'll rewind all the way back to like COVID, like when COVID started. Okay. So like it was my junior year, my club coach was like, okay, you need to like start reaching out to schools because like I know you don't want to stay here. My club coach was the head coach of Notre Dame, so I was like, I'm not staying here. I can't afford it. I'm not that smart. You know, things happen. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll start emailing schools. And he's like, these are the places I need you to go. And I'm like, that just makes me not want to do it. So like, why would I do it?
Yeah.
So COVID hits and I'm like not able to take any official visits because NCAA, like they offer like you can take 5 official visits to like a D1 program where like the athletic department can pay for you to go. Okay. So it would be free for me to go. But like all the places I was looking for, like in California, like Nevada, Texas, like so far away. And I can't afford that. I can barely afford to go to college. So like I wasn't going to like take like thousands of dollars to go see something place I wasn't going to go. So I just like sat around. This was in like May. The whole summer I'm like kind of like emailing coaches. And I like emailed Colorado State and they were like, "Oh, we can offer you like 70%." And I was like, 70%? I was like, "Wait, that's literally me paying $2,000 to go there a year." So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, this is up there." And then my dad is like really if you know my dad will push you to do something until you no longer want to do it. And I was looking at doing like the Army, Navy, maybe just because it was free. But like, you know me, I would not be able to do that. Like I would break it. And so I'm like, West Point's up there and they're like offering me, but that's like a lot of commitment and a lot of school and a lot of like time that I don't want to spend.
Yeah.
So then also like I got a full ride offer from the University of Nevada in Reno. And that's where my club coach wanted me to go. But that was like too far. So I was like, nah, you're good. And so I was like, honestly, like one day the Colorado State coach called me and he was like, you have a week. Like I need to know within a week. And I was like, okay. And at this time I was talking to like UC San Diego, Louisville was in there. I think IU, there was a couple of Illinois, like a couple like Big Ten schools. Rutgers offered to take me on a visit, but I was like, if I'm given a week, like obviously there's a reason I'm only given a week, like I'm meant to go there.
Yeah.
So I took the offer and I like in with it, and I was like, oh yes, look at me going far, because I hate being home. Like I love my family to death, but I just need to be independent. So I was like, I can be independent 1,000 miles away. No. The second I got there, I was like, we can turn around and go back. Like we drove the whole 16 hours. I was like, nah, you're good. Let's go. So like my mom and my brother dropped me off. Like we drove the whole shebang, like all the way across Nebraska, the flattest state you can drive across. And they dropped me off and they leave. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? I'm like sitting here in my bed. I made my bed and I sat there. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, is there parties? Like, am I supposed to go out? Like, what am I supposed to do? And so I had met my roommate. My parents did not like my roommate. My brother hated my roommate.
What was wrong with you?
Because, oh my God, don't even get me started on it. Okay, so she's going to see this, but that's totally okay because I have her blocked on everything for a reason.
We'll send it to her.
Oh no. So like the first night I'm there, I get there first of all, and like she has the bigger half of the room, which I mean it's fine. She can have it. I don't care. But the next thing is like she has like all her stuff on my bed, under my bed. Like all her stuff is already all over my side of the room. And I'm like, okay, you got here 12 hours before I did. And you already take over my spot and like all this stuff. And so then I'm like trying to put my stuff in the closet, and the closet literally smells like urine.
Because of the stuff she put in it?
No, it just
She
and I opened
urinated in the
hers smelled,
closet?
and hers smelled fine.
Oh,
So I'm
Joey
like,
did
why
that.
does my I was like, why? I was like, why does
Not
my
anymore.
closet smell like pee? And so I like buy a bunch of like air fresheners and it will not go away. Like I don't know what happened in this closet, but I did not want to know. And so then like I meet my suite mates and they're fine. They're NARPs. So that's like non-athletic regular people. They were fine the first night. And then they started getting weird. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like lock the doors tonight. And so this is the first night. And then the second night, it's welcome week. So there's so many parties going on. There's like you could do anything. Like you could literally anything. So she goes out and I'm in my room and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna relax. Like I need to just acclimate because it's at altitude. So I'm a little bit ill.
Yes.
So I've like met my team. I've like met the girls that I'm in my class and I'm like, they're fine. You know, they're all from like the West Coast. So I'm like, it's fine. And I get a knock on my door at 3 a.m. And I'm thinking she left her keys. So I'm like, okay. So I open the door, I crack the door open. It's 4 men standing outside my door. And I'm like, I knew all of them. So it was like not that weird. But I like open the door, I'm like, hello. And they're like, I open my eyes and she's draped over one of their shoulders. And I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And so they lay her on my floor and they're like, she's been throwing up for the past 3 hours. I'm like, my biggest fear is throwing up. Like I literally cannot do it. So I call my sweet mate and I'm like, she cannot stay here. Take her somewhere else. Like take her to one of y'all's dorms. Like I don't care. Leave her somewhere. She cannot be here. And I guess she was awake for that. She didn't know like that she had met like guys bring her back. Like she didn't know that I was there, but she heard me say that, I guess. Because she brought it up later. But like she was fine. She got drugged. She was fine. I handled it on my own, like a big girl. But I called my mom that night, like screaming, crying, and like literally like she was throwing up in the back. And I was like, oh no. But that wasn't even like the worst part. So like
That was just day one.
that was just like literally week 1. So I know a lot of okay. You guys know I was in a Cody Co video, right?
Oh, what?
Oh, wait.
Wait,
You guys
COVID?
know I was in
Oh,
a Cody
Co.
Co.
That's like a famous.
I was in a Cody Co video. That's not
Oh,
this
yeah,
is,
no. I knew about
this
that.
is
It
a
was
side
on-
story.
Yeah. You made a TikTok about it and like Enzo.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is not like the Cody Co thing, but this is like barstool. And if you know anything about college athletics, they need you to stay away from barstool. Like if you're posting on barstool, a lot of schools will literally kick you off. Like it's like a one and done policy. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm out in this mosh pit on these people's shoulders, chicken fighting people. Okay. And I win and I'm up there like, yeah, let's go. And I get a phone call in the morning because it was posted on Barstool. And they're like, that can never happen again. Like if you ever do that again, like you're done. Like you're gone.
Main Barstool or Barstool, Colorado State?
Barstool CSU. So Barstool, Colorado State. And they were like,
what's wrong with you chicken fighting?
you know, I ask myself the same question every day when I wake up.
Every single day I chicken fight and I don't see anything wrong with it.
I just don't see an issue with it. Like it's like
Just what I do.
like I was just out there having fun on my it was literally my very first night.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours after I moved in. And so it was a huge deal about that. And so I was petrified to leave my dorm ever again. I was like, someone's going to record me. I'm going to get posted on Barstool again and I'm going to be gone. And then, so like with swimming and diving, so like diving is completely separate. Like you have separate practices. You have a separate like little team.
Yeah.
So there's 5 of us. There's a senior, a junior, and 2 sophomores and me. So I was the only freshman coming in. All the other swimmers were like acclimated with all the swimmers. Like the divers were kind of like at first, like they were really nice, but I was like kind of standoffish because I was like in high school, I had not had the greatest experience like with girls. So I was like, this is weird. It was also an all girls team.
That's
I
interesting.
There's
should
no
mention
boys.
that. So
There's
it was
no
an all
boys
girls team.
diving?
There was no men's team at all. So there was no men's swimming, no men's diving, no nothing.
Huh.
So yeah, so like they were the whole swim team was like really standoffish, but they had their like cliques because it's a girls team. So it's going to be like very cliquey. You're going to have your group of girls that you are friends with.
Yeah.
But I just never fell into one of those. So like you guys know me,
But
I'm really easy.
you were winning every event, right?
Yeah, I was literally like
Which doesn't make
the
sense.
highest-
You would think you would like just like basically be in
I
charge.
actually no, I actually had a meeting with my therapist about this today. She was like, the better that you get, the more haters you're gonna have. And I was like, yeah, you're so right. Like that's how it was all through high school. And it's like the girls on my team though were so supportive. I love them to death. Like I still talk to them every day. But like I had such a hard time with like the swimmers hating me. Like, and I didn't know what it was. Like they were just so like separate. So I was like, okay, whatever. But like I never like fell into like a group that I
Yeah.
like would go hang out with. So I was always in my dorm, like always doing nothing. Like I was always just alone. And so my parents came to visit during welcome week, or not welcome week, during parents weekend, which was in October. So I moved in August. And this is like the first weekend of October. My parents flew out, came up to Fort Collins, and they like immediately walk in my room. They're like, this is just not right. Because like my shit was all over the floor. Like I was so messy. Like when I lived at home, I was like spotless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So messy. There was shit like everywhere in my room. Like I just like was so overwhelmed all the time that I just had no more motivation to like clean or anything. Like I
That's my
stopped.
problem.
I didn't shower.
Do you really need to clean your room? Like if it's your space, I mean, it's good because I guess like if you have a clean room, I guess it helps your mind. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
organized chaos in my opinion.
Do you really want to wake up in a
Right.
dump? Like I've been in your room. It's not good.
I know. It's just like I don't
I guess you
like. I
got-
never want to clean it.
Well,
Which,
you
like,
guys have been to my house.
What?
You know how clean my house is.
Yes. I was not
You
allowed
guys have been to my house.
to I mean like there's nothing against this. But I got like an ice cream sandwich from the gas station and I went over to your house.
Oh, you can't eat that on the couch.
Nope, I didn't. No.
You had to stand
I
and eat
ate
that.
It
I
was
know
in
you had to
December.
stand and eat
I
that.
ate that outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but my parents like came in because I was always really clean. And like I had not showered. Like I had no motivation to do anything. I hadn't showered, brushed my teeth, like brushed my hair in like a week.
And this was because
And
you felt like you didn't have any like friends.
I
And
was
like,
just so
It was a
depressed.
college
Like
night.
I was so just withdrawn from everything. Like I don't even remember half the shit that happened last year. Like if you told me to sit and unpack it all, I couldn't. Like that's also a reason
was there an outlet that you had that kept you from? No, it was just kind of like you just dealt with it.
Well, I mean, my boyfriend, but he was here.
Yeah.
Like we were always on FaceTime. So I was always like I was on the phone with my mom all the time. Like it was like I had to have something to talk to. Or I actually started a YouTube channel at one point. I posted one video, never posted again.
Okay. Is it still up?
But yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to check it out.
But so the girl, actually, I did kind of have an outlet. There was one girl that lived on my floor who also hated her roommate. Her name was Kenzie. She was literally my guardian angel. Like she's the reason I'm still alive to this day. Like she's literally the reason I'm still alive. Because I would call her, she ended up moving in next door actually. And I'd walk into her room and I'd be like, I cannot be alone right now. Like I don't trust myself being alone. Like you just need to like sit with me, even if it's just in silence. So she'd come and sit in my room and we'd watch a movie and I'd just sleep all the time. Like that's all I did. I didn't go to class. I'd go to practice. Like I'd be like 15 minutes like to practice, like, oh, sorry, class ran over, never went to class. I was on a decent eating schedule, but it was like I would eat with the swimmers and they eat fast, like so fast. And I just don't need that kind of I'm not an endurance athlete. So I can't eat.
You like to enjoy your food.
Yeah.
You don't
I like to sit and enjoy it. Yeah.
You should not be as intense as practices. Like
I know. It's
I don't know.
not.
I think the reason they do that is because if you can eat as much food as you can in 10 minutes,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
get as much calories in before your body becomes hungry.
Full. Yeah.
that becomes full.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I would eat and I'd finish half my meal and they'd be like, we're leaving, bye. And I just would leave too because I didn't want to sit there alone at the dining hall. And so I also lived in a traditional dorm. So like we didn't have separate rooms. We had 2 beds next to each other and a sink. So I was sleeping next to this stranger. No idea who he is. I would wake up and there would just be men in my room. Like I had no idea they were there. And
That's
like
just an
I'm not
invasion of
gonna lie.
privacy. That's
I'm
like
not gonna lie.
really
I don't sleep with like pants on. I don't know a woman that does.
Yeah.
So I like wake up in the morning, I'm changing in the middle of my room and I turn around and there's just a man.
yeah,
Like I
that
had no idea he was there. And this happened like more than once. And I was like, this just can't keep happening. And I tried to tell her and she was like, well, you're sleeping. And I was like, I have class. Like I'm gonna get up and go lift at 7 in the morning. Like I'm gonna go and do stuff. Oh, sorry.
you're
I
good.
don't want to have babies. So I was like, like I'm gonna get up and do stuff in the morning. He can't just be here. So that kind of like subsided for a little bit. And then towards the end of the year, she started doing it again. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like I'm over it. So
Did you
I
decide to have her as a roommate? Like I know you can do like some sort of college like Tinder where you choose your roommate nowadays. So you just went
no,
in
but
raw dog and just
it
got
had to be another freshman, like from the
Why?
team.
Why didn't you're an athlete? Why didn't they put you with another athlete? I thought that's what they do.
They did. She
Oh,
was an
she was
athlete.
an
She's a
athlete?
swimmer.
she wasn't a narc.
She was a
Oh,
swimmer.
swimmer. Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Do
there
do
was 6 of
swimmers and
us.
divers have like this weird sort of beef?
No, I love the swimmers here.
Okay. I don't know if that was
I
some
mean, I
sort
think it's like it
of
depends on like the team.
yeah.
But like, yeah. So like there were 6 of us coming in. The first two were the 2 that I did not get along with the whole year. Like I had a screaming match with one of them. I have it all recorded on my phone. I had a screaming match with one of them
Send it to
because
Barstool.
it was getting to the point, like it was literally getting to the point where I was being like personally called out for that video, the Cody Co video, like how I was on there.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I totally would have guessed that. Like, she just seems like that kind of person. And I was like, you're literally judging my character. My boyfriend lives 1,500 miles away. What am I supposed to do? Like, I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm like getting shamed for that. And so I went to the coaches about that. And I was like, this is so messed up. Like, I shouldn't hear my name being thrown around the locker room and them saying that I have like syphilis.
Yeah.
And like I already have like eczema and like I have like some skin issues.
Yeah.
And immediately they chalked it up to it being like some like contagious disease. And they were like, she's nasty, like get her out of here. Like she cannot practice with us. Like it literally had gotten to so bad. To the point where like I would just not show up anymore. Like I stopped going to practice, I stopped going to weights, like I just stopped going everywhere. And then
So do you feel like
it was
that's what caused you to want to transfer, or
You just
yeah.
you never really found your place at the Colorado State. Do you
No,
think
I just
you would have,
never
like, ever been able to say if like you weren't just put with like the worst roommate ever? They Colorado State people just aren't your type of people, which is totally fine.
they just weren't my type of people. Like I told my mom, like when my parents back to like the parents weekend thing, when they came in my room, they were like, oh my God, like this is not our daughter anymore. Like I had lost 15 pounds in the 2 months I was there. I was like as white as a ghost.
for freshman
You're supposed to gain
Freshman
15
15, I lost the 15 instead of gaining it. You could see all the veins like in my body. Like I had become like borderline like anorexic
Yeah.
in these 2 months. And so my mom was like, you could just transfer. She was like, just leave. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like someone had finally given me like an out. And so I went home for Christmas and I left a day early because my mom had bought my flight for a day earlier. And I missed like some like team bonding, but the dive coach said I could leave, so I left. And then I come back a day late because we had like a blizzard on New Year's Day or something. Like they canceled my flight. I couldn't do anything about it. And I get back and I'm just like immediately like put on blast. It's like, oh my God, Lindsay got 2 extra days of break. Then I was like, I can't believe they give her special treatment, but not us. Like, that's so messed up. And they started bullying me for it. And I was like, you guys really want me like to die? Like, you really want me to kill myself? And so fast forward again to actually it was so like our conference meets are always around Valentine's Day for swimming and diving. So it was the week before that, so it's probably like the 7th or 8th. I had woke up. This is like my 10th day in a row waking up like nauseous, like sick to my stomach. Because I'd finally decided that I needed to transfer. But everybody, like the coaches loved me because I've like gotten them so many points. Like we had beaten like our rivals. We had gone undefeated for a whole year by like 2 points because like I won a diving event.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. But they would never say it was me. They would say it was one of their swimmers.
Yeah.
So I had like woken up one morning and I told my roommate I was going to go tell the coach about people saying that I had syphilis. So I had made up this whole backstory about why I was going to talk to my coach when I was really going to tell him that I wanted to get out. Like I needed to leave. And so I walked in there. I actually just wrote an essay about this. So I walked in there and he was like, "You wanted to talk?" And I was like, "I need to transfer." And he was like, "Yeah, I kind of figured. You just seem like you're not in it anymore." And I was like, "Awesome. Where can I sign up? Like, put me in the portal." He goes, "So you're actually going to have to wait until like after conference." And I was like, "Okay, word, whatever." So then I get called into the swim coach's office. And he's like, why do you want to leave? Like, what's been going on? Like, our girls would never do anything to you, like, ever. They love you. Like, they always are talking so highly of you." And I'm like, "Oh, you should hear the shit they're saying behind my back."
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, "Well, then we can't take you to conference." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine with me. Like, I don't care. I hate it here. Why would I want to go with you?"
Yeah.
And so I was just like, "Okay, fine, whatever." And so then he calls me like later in the week and he's like, "Oh, we actually need you. Like, you'll put down 50 points for us and like take us from like 5th to 4th." And I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever." So I went. It was a free vacation to Houston, Texas. So I was like, "Awesome." And then I came back. I ended up doing I literally did so bad. Like I got like almost last in the event I was supposed to win. And then I like messed up every single dive and somehow placed 5th in the one I wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah.
So this is like Mountain West. So this is like not a Power 5, but it's like a Mid-American conference. So I come back and they're like, "You're going to have to tell the team like that you're transferring and it's not going to go over well." And I'm like, "You're good. You can do it." So I entered the transfer portal. It was actually a year ago today that I entered the transfer portal. I entered the transfer portal and immediately I get emails from like Florida Gulf Coast, like Florida State, UNC, it was
Like a
like
bunch of power.
it was all the Power 5s. And I was like, let's take a step back here. Like I had come to visit Louisville in November and I loved it. I was like, this is where I need to be. I hadn't talked to the coach because that's against NCAA rules. But I told Che, I was like, "Put in a good word with me, please." He goes, "He loves you. He wants you." And I was like, "Okay, awesome." So I was in the portal.
He's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he goes here, but that had nothing to do with like the actual decision. I mean, it did a little bit, but like not,
It was a plus.
It was just exactly. It was like you know how like when you get a new car, but it's like it's a push start instead of a key. Like that's
I am excited to get a new car.
What it is. Like that's literally what it is. Like that's what it was for me. So I was in the portal and over the summer, like it took me a while to like actually like put my foot down and be like, "Okay, mom and dad, this is where I need to go. Like this is what I need."
You were at Colorado State for the whole year though.
Yeah, I was there up until, but after I entered the portal, which is the reason that they wanted me to tell them, is after I entered the portal, I was no longer allowed to practice or be affiliated with the team at all. So any team meals,
which is good for you, right?
Oh my God, it was so good for me. I gained those 15 pounds back. My grades were so good. I had a 1.7.
It gave you motivation because you needed to obviously get into Louisville. You can't get into Louisville if you're just not going to classes.
Right. Well, I had a 1.7 from first semester.
Yeah,
that was my GPA.
Yeah, that.
And so second semester, I think I had like a 2.3, and it brought me up to a 2.1 for like the whole thing. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so great," because I needed a 2.0 to get in. And so when I was working at Chipotle this summer, randomly, Ryan calls me, who's the Louisville coach, and he was like, "You want to come here?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "This is what I can offer you." So then he offered me, and I was like, "I'll take it." This was in the middle of a shift.
So I mean, like,
a
little
in the middle of a shift.
But Lindsay, I'm really curious. Like, there was a lot of controversy around your name in Chipotle.
What?
I mean, around the South era, you were known to like scam customers in a way. You
No.
know, like the Chipotle thief. Like they ask for double chicken, you give them a fourth of a chicken, charge them for double chicken. I mean,
It depends. It depends.
Lindsay, like,
on
do
who
you
it
like
was.
remember
Like,
this?
like people would walk into Chipotle and walk out if they saw you working.
Yeah, I remember
Ooh.
the time I went in. You're like, I'm gonna get you right. You did not get me right.
Oh, actually, you know what? You actually came in at a bad time. My manager was on the line with me, so I
think
could
that's
not get you right. I could not get you right. I got everybody right who came through those doors when my managers were not next to me.
Besides your own brother.
That was different.
I want to know about that because your brother went in and you charged.
I would bring home, okay. Tazio, this is not about Enzo, this is about Tazio.
Okay.
This part is, okay. I would close. You know, I would be there all the time. No matter what time of day it was, I was there.
You're on the
I made
grind.
so much money there. But so Enzo came in one day and he was like, okay, let me get, I think it was a burrito or something. And he was like, give me double meat. And I was like, okay. But my managers were behind me. So I gave him single. I was like, I'm only going to charge him for single. So I have to make it look like I'm giving him single. So I gave him single and I charged him for single. And he was like, but I wanted double. So I charged him for double, but didn't give him double. So I did not get him right, but I did get my other brother right that night because
Did you ever apologize?
no.
I think that really hurt Enzo. Like, okay, a little backstory. Like, Enzo is Dave and I's buddy, obviously, for everyone that's listening. Like, we're pretty close with Enzo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, when I heard about that, I was like, oh, I don't like Lindsay. But I mean, opinions changed, okay?
Yeah. Well, and then, okay, so my dad and my other brother would always call me at 10:05 every night. Can you bring us home a burrito or some tacos? And we already have the food thrown away.
That's amazing.
So in a way, I was really scamming everybody.
Yeah.
Because like nobody.
No one won when you were on the clock.
Everyone lost.
No one won when you were on the clock, basically.
Chipotle made
God, there was I had a regular customer. I had a regular customer that came in every single day. He worked at Notre Dame. He was like a professor there. He had his like visa from India. And I only learned this because I got pissed off at him one day because he would take all the rice. But I always got him right with the rice because you can't charge him again for rice.
Yep.
And his meal would be $7.25 every single day. Like it was the same price, same thing every day.
He didn't get any.
And one day,
is that like the Chipotle hack? Is there any other ones? Because like
you can get like I have the kids menu right here. You can get like a build your own and just get like rice, beans, and chicken and get like corn, everything else on the side. And if they give you like, and just ask for a bowl on the side. Like if you don't like a lot of rice, that's like a good hack.
Yeah, I don't even get rice, so.
Or you just need to be nice to the workers.
Yes, that's a tip for everybody. If you go in there and you start flirting with the workers,
oh, they'll give you more.
Yes. I mean, like the Indian professor, I mean, that's what he was doing. I mean, that's just what ended up happening.
But he never got like double meat. He always just got like the bowls are like decent size or like that.
Yeah.
I just fill that shit all the way up. And I'd be like, you want another bowl full of just rice? Like I can give it to you. Like, because it's free. Like I'm not supposed to charge for that.
Yeah.
So like he would come in and then he did give me like a cute little backstory one time. So he's like in his maybe 60s. And I was like, oh my God, my last day is tomorrow. Like, I'm so sorry. I'll hand you off to someone good, like someone who will keep you get you right every time. He's like, thank you so much. Like, I just moved here like last month from India. Like, it's so nice coming here and like being able like to get a taste of home with the rice. And I was like, stop. I was standing at the line like about to cry. I was like, this is so cute. I've just helped this man every single day for my whole 100-day shifts just to get him right with some rice.
What was the most amount of shifts that you worked in a row, like days?
Oh. Okay, so I actually wasn't actually scheduled that much. They told me they were only be able to schedule me part-time. So I was like, okay, word, whatever. Perfect for me. My social life was going to be thriving. No. I got called in every single day. So I think there was a time where I worked the whole month, like without a day off. Like I would come in, open, and opening starts at 7. And we don't open the restaurant until 10:45. So you start at 7, you start like, do you remember the whole like Chipotle controversy about the E. coli?
Yep.
Oh, they've got that covered. Like you will never get sick from their food. Ever. Unless it's like the meat. Like that's the only thing I can see you getting sick from.
Yeah.
But that's like if they don't cook it long enough, which like they have like a certain protocol. Like everything has a protocol. Like you have to do everything a certain way every single day. But yeah, so I'd come in at 7, leave at 2, and they'd call me at 4. And they'd be like, we need you to close tonight.
And you do it?
And I would do it.
I would just say no.
I got paid $15 an hour.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making that bank and overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you worked like more than 40 hours in a week, they would pay you $22.50 an hour.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. Like
how did you even improve on swimming at that time? If you're working
Diving?
or diving, sorry. Like, did you go to like a local neighborhood pool and like show off to all the kids or what?
No. So when COVID hit, Notre Dame closed, right? So you know the new pool in Elkhart?
The Beacon one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, or was it Monday and Wednesday? It was like Monday and Wednesday from like 5:30 to 7:30. I would just go and dive and drive back and go back to work. It was a whole 30-minute drive, and I'd tell him, I'd be like, I'll be there. Count me to it.
That's incredible. Okay, so take us back to the shift where you got the call from the Louisville coach.
So this was like, it was so hot outside. I got the call and I was like, guys, I gotta go. And I had just been accepted. So like to the school. So he called me and he was like, Lindsay, and I was like, Brian. And he was like, so like, we really want you here. Like, I just need to know that you're going to be in it for the rest of the 3 years. And I was like, yeah, you got me. Like, why would I do you wrong like that? And he was like, I don't know. Like, I trust you. He's like, but we like really want you. So then he offered me, which like they offer you in like paying for just like certain parts of your school. They don't offer you in like a percentage. So he like offered me like whatever he was going to pay for. And he was like, so is that it? You good? And I was like, yep. Send me the papers. Sent him over that night. Signed him the next morning. Sent him back.
Wow.
And this was in like the end of July.
So you ended up there about a month later, right?
Hmm?
And then you ended up there in Louisville about a month later. So take us through your first day at Colorado State was a nightmare. Take us through your first day at Louisville.
Okay.
You don't have to drive 16 hours anymore. It's probably like
it was like 4 hours. It was so nice. We left in the morning. It broke my heart, like leaving my little sister though. Like you guys knew Adriana when she used to just like, she's just like me now.
She's the hooper.
But she's just like me. Her personality is like just like me because we spent every single day together this summer. So like leaving her broke my heart. Yeah. But then like the drive was fine. It was like a 4-hour drive. I moved all my stuff in and like I was so excited for my parents to leave. I was like, yes, because welcome week, there's gonna be stuff going on. Yeah. There's gonna be get-togethers.
It's gonna be busting.
Yeah. So I was just like out every night, having the time of my life. It was so much fun. Like I just felt immediately just like at home. Just because like I knew that like they weren't gonna do me wrong because I couldn't transfer again. And I told them before, I was like, I almost dropped out of school. Like I was filling out the withdrawal papers. Like before I had entered the transfer portal. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, no, why would we do anything?
That'd be a crazy plot twist. So yeah. you could just be like a full-time Chipotle worker.
Oh no, you would never catch me doing that.
Maybe over the summer.
So I've actually changed my major like 4 times though.
What did you
I feel like that's a normal thing though. I've never met someone that's like, yeah, I stuck it out all 4 years. Like I feel like it's normal for you to change.
Yeah, so I started out. So I applied as a psychology major. Like that's what I applied as.
That seems good for you. Like
that's not what I am anymore. I switched that so quick. And so before I had even gotten to Colorado State, I changed it to health and exercise science because they had a really good occupational therapy like grad school. They're ranked like number 7 in the country when I last looked. So I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Like I want to be a PT. Made it through like a week. And I was failing nutrition. And I was like, well, shit. Yeah. That's not it for me. Like I'm done. And so I switched it to psychology with just like a general like path. Because they make you pick a concentration for that. And so I was like, oh, I'll just do general right now. And then last semester, like this fall semester, I was psychology with a counseling concentration. And then now I'm an art major.
Really?
Yep.
And you like it?
Oh, I love it.
Huh.
So
I love it.
I mean, that's kind of incredible, right? You went from Colorado State where you didn't like anything, and now you're at Louisville where you love your major, and I imagine that you love the diving team as well.
Oh my God, I love it. They're my best friends.
Was conference just like last week or so?
Yeah, it was like the week of Valentine's Day, yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, you are a student athlete. How is the athlete part of it going?
Oh my gosh, it's going so good. The only thing is we have a platform, which like, the big tall things.
Yeah.
I just am so scared of them.
You
So I
don't-
have like a little baby list.
You like the meter one or whatever it's called, right?
I don't do the tallest one. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I do like the middle one.
Okay.
And you're
Yeah.
good at it. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't know. Like,
I mean, I'm mid. I mean, I'm not great, but I'm not horrible.
that's so interesting.
Like I scored at conference. I almost finaled at conference. Top 8 finals, and I got 9th.
That must have been really bad. You should have done better. I'm just playing with you.
That was probably the best I could have done. Like
Yeah.
that was the best I could have done.
Power 5 is different than Colorado State's conference.
Oh yes.
I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm just curious, like, what's like the biggest difference between Louisville and Colorado State? Is it the people?
It really is. Like I'm a big Midwest girl. I love the Midwestern people. They're awesome. Like
I'll be honest, like Louisville was on your radar for a little bit.
Yeah.
Louisville was on our radar.
I loved it. I love it. Like the only thing that like I kind of am like off put about is like Colorado State's campus was gorgeous.
Yeah, that it's in the mountains, which is
And now this is just like old. And I'm like, okay, this
Yeah.
is kind of cool. But it's like also like downtown, like Louisville. Like you can literally see like the city, like the building downtown from where I live.
yeah.
So you don't think there's a place that that you'd be happier? You really found your spot.
Yeah. And I call my mom and tell her every day, I'm like, I'm not coming home this summer. I'll be home for a week.
That's like
What do you think kept you going?
I think it was like, I think what kept me going was being able to go home at the end of the year. Like I was like finally like,
Colorado State, like going home at the summer, like you were like, yeah, like it's okay.
yeah. I was like,
it's not permanent. You know, you're like, this suffering isn't permanent.
yeah, it really wasn't. And like when I've gone through like a good amount of things in my life, like that have caused me to like grow like coping mechanisms. But one that like really stuck with me from like my junior year of high school was like, I really got super deep into meditation, like so incredibly deep into it. Like, I'm not even kidding. You guys need to try it.
Like you just like sit there and
When I would go outside during COVID, I'd sit there and tan and meditate. I had this like reclining chair and I would lay there and just release everything. I was like so peace and love.
yeah.
I was on cloud 9 that whole summer.
You know who could use some of that?
Who?
Enzo.
Oh.
My mom probably tells him that. But so I was like meditating. My mom was like, you need to start meditating. You need to go to therapy. And I'm like, the therapists here suck. I tried one. They sucked. And
Or South Bend.
no, in Colorado.
Oh.
So over the summer, I started meditating again and like really just trying to find like inner peace. Because I was like, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, I really don't think there's anything wrong with me.
Yeah.
But I was so like relieved just to be like home and with people that I loved that like I was just like okay with like suffering for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and now you're at Louisville where like that's kind of like a permanent with people that love you and all that. That's like that's a really crazy turnaround from literally a year ago today.
It was so crazy. And like my mom was so awesome to me the whole time. She was like, you just have to think like, just look at like how far you've even come. Like you've made it this whole way and you're still alive and breathing. Like there's a reason that this is happening to you. And I was like, yeah, still haven't found the reason. But like, I think it's really made me appreciate life a lot more. Like I feel like so incredibly grateful. Like I don't know what to do with all like my gratefulness.
Yeah.
Like I just want to hug and kiss my friends all the time. Like I love life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mom's the real MVP.
I know. Peggy really out here.
Peggy is the real MVP.
Peggy's really out here.
That
And
that's
like, yeah.
You think, you
And
don't
I
think,
also
you
like,
don't think Timothy had anything to do with it?
oh no.
Okay.
what about the
I love him.
sibling?
I do really love my dad. But man, I
He's
think
a
I
great
talked.
mower. I've heard he keeps a lawn looking good.
Oh yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I heard.
Well, and like I think I talked to my dad maybe twice the whole time I was there. Like other
Yeah.
than when I was at home.
I think
Like
it's
my
just,
dad would text me like little notes of encouragement every once in a while. He'd be like, "I love
yeah.
you, you can do it."
I think
But
it's
that was
just
only like,
naturally easy to like when you're in a moment where in a moment of like crisis and like you just you want to cry. Like I think it's just easier to go to your mom. Like it's
oh
just
yeah,
I definitely feel
Like
that way.
like your pops is someone you can like go make fun of like things with, but
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
mother is like someone that like gives you the love you need.
The thing is like
Yeah.
you're that I feel like that's just like what's ingrained in us. Like, can you honestly stop? God, he keeps playing with this dang ball. Okay, it's really making me mad.
Oh.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, like, say if you were to go to your dad, like it still would turn out well. But I just think it's ingrained in us.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
It's a
easier.
lot harder to get through to my dad. I'm a lot like my dad, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just incredible. I'm curious. Like, let's go back to like day one, like diving. That's such like a weird niche. Like, how did you get into that in high school or what? Like,
So I went to a Catholic grade school.
yes.
Okay. Not anything that I wanted to do there. I did not want to play a sport with a ball at all. I had no hand-eye coordination whatsoever. I was like so clumsy. But when I was little, my mom put me in gymnastics. So I did gymnastics up until I was about 10. And then the parents got so bad that my mom couldn't handle it anymore. And she was like, "You're done. We're making
Turned
you
into
quit.
like
You're gonna
dance moms kind of thing.
No, that's
Like,
literally
my
what it
sister's
was like.
obsessed with dance moms, and it's like so hard to watch because they're all just so negative towards each other, and they're all like, "My kid's the best." Like,
That's literally how it
there's no
was.
professional dance team. Your kid's not going anywhere. They're not going to be a dancer when they're older.
They're not going to the
Like,
Well,
Olympics.
that's
What are you
literally
going to do? Go
how
to
it was.
AGT? You win AGT, then what? You do shows, but like that's what? I don't even know.
Yeah. No, that's exactly how it was. And so my mom made me quit. And we're friends with people who lived like just right by Morris Park. And my mom was like friends with her and she was like, "What's your daughter doing?" And her daughter was also named Lindsay. Funny enough, with an E. But she was like, "Oh, she's diving over at there's a club at Notre Dame. Like I bet Lindsay would love it." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like, yeah. So my parents made me go one day and I hated it. I was so scared of the coach because he was like Chinese and the Chinese coaches were intense.
We've probably been in the same pool together then.
Oh yeah.
Because
Probably.
that's where I trained back when I was a swimmer.
At Irish.
You good?
I was good.
Where you
Yeah.
at?
Oh, you know who I'm
I
talking
trained
about
in
then.
the same pool as Division I athletes. I think that means I'm pretty good.
You know who I'm talking about though then, right?
Yeah.
Timing.
Yeah,
He's
I
the
always
living
like
crap
loved when there was breaks on swimming because I liked watching like the divers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I was supposed to do with my life.
Maybe it's not too late.
No,
You can, Dave.
I'll walk on.
No, you can come back for a 5th year of high school and do
Oh,
diving.
oh no.
Okay,
But
you can keep going.
yeah, so I hated Kaiming. And my mom was like, "Okay, fine, you don't have to do it." So I did it for like a year. And then the people from gymnastics followed me there. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
And then I decided I wanted to quit again. This was like in 8th grade. So this was like right before high school. And I quit for like a year. And I came back and I started diving high school and I loved it. I loved like club again. And there was always just like some drama just because it was like a predominantly girls team. Like there was guys, like my boyfriend dove with me. We've known each other for 7 years and I've only been dating for like a year and a half. And yeah, but there was always so much drama.
Huh.
And I just was not there for the drama. And so I was like, maybe an all-girls swim team. No, that was a horrible idea. I don't know who put that in my head that I could deal with an all-girls swim team. Never again.
I don't know. I think it comes because you went to Colorado State because you chased the money, right?
Uh-huh. I was chasing that bag.
Yep. I think that made you realize you can't just always chase the bag. You got to chase both.
My dad actually, this is one thing that my dad did say to me. He said, it's just money. Like you're gonna make it back.
That's the way I look at it. There's someone that's related to you that doesn't want to join an MSA team because it's $150 and it's like $150.
that you're gonna make back in
the
like
long
a day.
term is literally nothing.
That's 10 Chipotle.
Yeah. Exactly. It's literally nothing. Like that's why I'm not good with money. I'm so bad at math. Like I'm horrible with money.
Yeah.
And I hate it because people take it like as like it's like oh, I have like all of these blades of grass, but you have less than me. So I can't hang out with you. And they use that as like a ploy to like be better than you because they can afford these things. When in reality, you really have the same amount of grass. You just have to like give them what you have and just give the rest later.
Yeah. Like you use the lawnmower more than them.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Because some people then would have like a front yard, but other people have a front yard and a backyard. So you'd rather
And
just
a
be
backyard.
a yard person.
Yeah. I hate money. I'm actually dealing with like where I'm gonna live next year. Like housing wise.
Yeah.
I'm living off campus because housing is horrible. Like anywhere you go to college, housing is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
But like, why would I pay like some like really cheap rent for somewhere I'm not gonna like living?
Yeah, you got to make the sacrifice.
You got to make the sacrifices.
Make
Like
your-
if I
makes
got
it
to
way
chase the
better.
bag one extra day a week, I'm gonna chase that bag.
Yes. That
Wait, so you're gonna chase the bag, but you don't care how much grass you have.
Yeah. Because you can always keep making it.
you can always work 7 to 7 at Chipotle. You
Exactly.
can always do Chipotle is in demand.
Everything always
This
works
time
out
we
the way
apply.
it's meant to. That's also another thing. Everything always works out the way it's meant to.
You believe that? Are you like do you
Oh,
like
yeah.
believe that like everything happens for a reason?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
then, have you always felt that way?
No.
I was gonna say I think that's so interesting
Wait,
because
so
like,
then-
I just don't.
So then like people that are just in so much like suffering and stuff, then why is that? If everything's supposed to be like that, why?
I am a firm believer of things don't happen to you, you happen to the things. So like if you're somewhere you're not meant to be, like for example, when I was at Colorado State, I wasn't meant to be there. So that I was happening to that, which is why it was like impacting on me. It's like when you have, okay, chemistry. Let me think here for a second. So like if you have like an atom, but it doesn't have a full valence electron shell. It doesn't have the 8 electrons. Or no, it does. It has the 8 electrons, but you try to add another one to that last valence shell. What's it going to do? Freak out. It's going to become unstable. Like you're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
So
But
if
it's still alive. It can deal with it. It's just gonna keep bouncing.
Exactly. Which is why I was always like all over the place.
You were bouncing.
Does that make sense?
No, I get what you're saying. Something I'm really curious about, Lindsay, is in high school you were a 2-sport athlete, with the other sport being golf. I can imagine that was like an incredibly tough decision to go to college and be on the diving team instead of the golf. Can you like take us through that struggle? I imagine that's still something that you might struggle with.
Because like pursuit, like I remember like, sophomore year, Enzo was telling me that you like wanted to be like in the LPGA because you saw.
Told you that?
Between like golf and diving, there's only one of those sports you can really do professionally, and it was golf. So you wanted to be a professional athlete, so you were going to be in the LPGA.
I thought golf was an avid passion of yours.
I hated golf.
Why did you do it?
Because I needed another sport.
Enzo only does one.
Okay, listen. I was the first of my mother to go to high school. So I have 2 older brothers that are from my dad's first marriage, right? And they had already gone to high school and they didn't play sports. So when I went to high school, my mom was like, how do I get my daughter to meet people? And my grandpa won the city tournament multiple times in golf.
What's his last name?
Gibo.
Okay, I'll have to look.
He plays at Erskine. He has the American flag golf cart.
Oh, that's him. No shot, that's your grandpa.
He's the only guy who's allowed to bring his cart.
No shot, that's your grandpa.
Yes, that's my grandpa.
I'm gonna have to
That's
talk
my
to him
mom's
next time I
dad.
see him. I see him all the time.
Yeah, that's my mom's dad.
Your grandchildren.
Okay, keep going
You
with
should be like, tell me about your grandchildren.
So So you guys know Mr. Kern.
Yes, that's Dave's.
So my mom is doing her research and she's like, Lindsay needs a sport to play in the fall and she's not playing soccer. Like she's not going to play a sport that involves hand-eye coordination. Let's get her in golf. So she calls Mr. Kern and Mr. Kern is like, hello, like talking to her. And she's like, yeah, this is Stan Giebo's granddaughter. And he's like, yep, sign her up, get her in here, let's go. And he had this like super high standard set for me. The first time I ever swung a golf club and hit a golf ball, okay, on this team, I accidentally drove it 200 yards straight down the fairway. And I was never able to do it again that day. Like it just happened. Like I have
Beginners.
no idea how it happened. Literally beginner's luck.
Huh.
And then I played golf all 4 years because it put a letter on my jacket.
Yeah.
It gave me a chevron.
It was an extra, it was an extra electron though. Why do you feel like it didn't
It made you
bounce?
more stable.
Do you feel like-
I mean, it was only in the fall. It was actually only in August. And diving took a break in August.
Yeah.
So it really just needed something to do.
Yeah, it was just a real yeah.
So talking
was
about
just like
will we see you in the 2024 Olympics?
Huh?
You gotta talk.
Can you not? Oh, sorry. Talking about diving, will we see you in the 2024 Olympics?
Maybe.
No.
Trials, yes. You will see me at the trials. I will be at the Olympic trials.
Like,
probably not at the Olympics, but I will be at the Olympic trials.
Think you're gonna try?
Yeah.
Might as
Why
well.
why would I go to the Olympic trials?
Yeah.
do you know how incredible that would be if you became an Olympian? You'd
Pretty
probably be
cool.
like the first Olympian from South Bend, Indiana. Probably.
Okay, you know it's crazy. A lot of my friends deal with this, but I actually like it. When you guys go to college, you'll notice that this happens. When you go to college and you come back, you all of a sudden know every single living, breathing person that lives in South Bend. Like
Wow.
I walk around stores and I just see people that I know all the time. Even if I'm home during like an off weekend,
Yeah.
go to Target for like one thing and I'll be in there for 4 hours because I've run into people I went to high school with.
Huh.
You're gonna be one of the
But I
type.
don't know if that's just a me thing.
You're gonna be the type to come back for like the 20-year high school anniversary.
And everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, Lindsay.
That's
I was so mellow in high school. Like I literally had one group of friends.
I
One.
vividly remember playing tennis with you in high school, and I thought you were not mellow. I thought you were somewhat interesting.
Well, I didn't really have that many friends. I was like acquaintances with everybody, but I was not friends with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's like that's a reality.
That's the way that a lot of people are. A lot of people
Like
think
you guys know Marie Atchmar.
Yeah. I mean I met her brother.
So you know how she's like everybody knows her.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I feel. Like I feel like everybody knows me, but I know not everybody knows me.
Yeah, that makes sense because like I feel like once you start putting yourself out there more, then people know your name, but they don't know you.
Yes.
Right. Which is what's crazy is like I had people from the sectional meet that was at Penn sending me pictures of my name on the board and I had no idea who they were. They're like, this is you, right? And I'm like, yeah. Because I had the sectional record.
The interesting thing is like people they know your name, but they don't know you.
That's what I just said.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said, and you liked it.
Well, I was gonna say that.
So
I mean, we are.
You just retweeted it.
Yeah, I retweeted.
Yeah.
That's what we are, though. So, like, we can kind of relate in that type of way where it's like
Yeah.
everybody, I mean, they know chips and chops, but it's like
Yeah.
they've never talked
They
to
don't.
us.
They know chips and chops. They don't know David and Joey.
Right. Exactly.
Do you think, like, was that like a struggle for you? Because it's kind of like you're put in like a weird position. Or
What do
could
you
you
mean?
imagine that would be where like people know your name and like they recognize your name, but like they don't really know who you are?
It makes me feel important. Like when I was in high school, I did not feel important. But now that I'm not in high school and I hear people talking about me, I'm like, I'm a sophomore in college, and I'm
So does that
still
wait,
my
that holds value to you?
Like that doesn't bother you?
It holds value to you that you like people know you. You'd rather like you don't want to just be important to yourself. You'd rather be important to others, or is it kind of like just a mix equal thing?
It's like a mixed equal thing because I have a huge ego. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I do have a huge ego. Like, I talk myself
Yeah,
up a lot.
that's okay.
And like people used to hate me for that because I used to talk myself up so much. Like I used to act like I was better than them. But you gotta fake it till you make it. And I've made it. So I
were you
faked
really
it long enough.
faking it?
Now I make
You were better than them. Like you weren't really.
No,
You
I
didn't-
am.
You might not have believed it at the
Oh,
time.
I think I was. I had a lot of self-esteem issues in high school.
I think like it's kind of interesting. Like I imagine that 20 years from now, I'll look at high school and be like, that was like the biggest roller coaster ever.
I loved high school. But I say that as in like I didn't want to graduate every single year I was there.
I look at high school and it's like I've had my highest highs and my lowest lows.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
But
the
just
most,
wait until you're freshman year of college.
but it's just like it's. I'll be honest, it's kind of mid. Is
Yeah.
that ridiculous? Like
No, it's a good take.
I think
Yeah.
high school is kind of mid.
I think like high school was good for my character development.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like you need high school just like to kind of figure
Yeah.
out like
Who you are. Because you don't want to go into college being weird.
I mean, you don't want to go into high school being weird either.
True. But that'll bend you the right way. Like
Yeah.
if you're bent, it'll make you straight.
Like yes, you can go into high school and you can be kind of weird, but
That'll fix you real
you
quick.
can kind of find your footing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like it's also interesting looking at it. Like, who are the people that I talked to at the beginning of freshman year? Now I'm at the end of my senior year. Who am I talking to?
I was just telling the story today. I have only had one detention ever in my whole life. Okay.
Didn't even get a detention.
And I look back at this detention and it was so worth it. Because my freshman year of high school, I had Miss Drake for English last period. It was me, Ethan Marvel, Jaith Gordon, and a couple other people. It was like, I think Gianna Gilmore was in there too. But me and Ethan would not stop talking. And Miss Drake gave us both attentions for it. But that was so worth it. Because I'm never going to be able to talk to
It's a moment you remember.
It's a moment I'm going to remember forever because I got a detention talking to someone I know I'm never going to have to get to talk to again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you'll.
And
yeah.
same with like, that was like so catastrophic in my high school career too. Like I was like, I have one detention. One. And it's because I sat there and talked when I was supposed to be quiet. But now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that was so worth it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you could get a detention in high school. I'll be honest. I went from being a really big, I wouldn't say a big troublemaker. I was a troublemaker in grade school to coming into high school, and I don't think I've gotten in trouble once.
Yeah.
I was always just like known by the teachers.
Lindsay, last year I was in this history class,
With
and
who was the teacher?
here, I don't know if I should really name drop,
Oh God.
but I'll tell you after. But I was in this history class, and like I liked the teacher and all, but in the second semester, I like went to my counselor, and I couldn't get back in the class. He wouldn't let me back in. I guess that was me getting in trouble, but then I ended up having a class with David and Mr. Berger, who's like the goat of all teachers.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
like you said, everything happens for a reason. I think that I mean that was just like one time that I got in trouble. But I mean, Lindsay, I feel like we've covered a lot. I'm curious, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? I mean, this was an incredible story. I was kind of like, I don't know, I was very entertained in a way.
Yes.
It's a good movie.
Oh, I wrote this essay. It was like 10 pages long.
You did that today?
Oh no, I wrote it like this weekend. It was about like I had to write a memoir about how I decided to transfer. 10 and a half pages long.
That's like something that's like enjoyable to write about, I think. Like when you think about, like an experience of yours.
Because she was like, I wrote about like this one time that I got yelled at by my mom, and she was like, I'm not really feeling this. And I was like, I can write about something else.
And you did it.
And I did. And she was like, this is so good. Like, I love it. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, that'll definitely make you keep that 2.0 GPA though.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Well, now,
what's actually nice about college is if you transfer, it drops your GPA.
It drops.
So your GPA, so like you'll get the credit. So now I'm technically still a sophomore, but I have only one semester that counts towards my GPA.
That's good then. That's
Yeah.
I think that's, I don't know if that's how it should be, but I guess that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Lizzie, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, or any? No, I'll be honest. It seems like we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Can you tell people where they can find that Cody Co video or the?
No.
No.
If you're lucky, it was actually posted last year on my birthday, which is so crazy. It was one of those, you remember it was a trend where it was like the one I remember is like my mom being cold because like she didn't have a blanket on and her putting a blanket on her mom and her actually being dead. Like that's like it was one of those like trauma dumping ones.
Okay. Yep.
It was not I don't remember what it was called, but I'll find it. It's on my TikTok too. You can find me on TikTok at Lindsay Gizzi. Instagram is also at Lindsay Gizzi. Twitter is at Lindsay Gizzi_. Please don't add my Snapchat.
YouTube.
YouTube is also Lindsay Gizzi.
Yes, check that out. That's gonna be in the description for sure.
That vlog was so fun.
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for listening. This was definitely like, I don't really know how to say this. This was a very podcasty podcast, which I thought was incredible, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I'm really pleased. So check us out on everything Chips and Chows podcast.
Yeah.